Boys. Coming to you from the streets again here today. So in this video, I'm gonna just do a quick response. It's a response video to my friend Ephraim at PullUniversity. Because he made a great video yesterday that I thought was so interesting that I just wanted to actually respond to it and in a way just add my 2 cents to it as well. So to summarize his video, he basically said, I've gone from zero to hero in the dating space and I feel absolutely amazing about that, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. And he'd seen an account given from a guy who'd gone from zero to hero in the financial space and basically found that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. It didn't really satisfy him, and like, I suppose in the long term, you know, he just felt empty about the whole situation. And I thought it was such an interesting comparison between those two. So I just wanted to add my 2 cents into the conversation, and really I'm not surprised by that comparison. It doesn't surprise me at all. It's, if you think about it, when we're talking about the sort of dating, the social life, that side of things, that's actually something that's like viscerally physical, and it's something that's connected to your literal DNA. You know, like the reason that you like women ultimately is because of your DNA. We don't think of it like that, and in a way maybe that's even an inconvenience in a sense, but that's ultimately the reason. It's the same reason you like, you know, sweet food or something like that. It's for the same reason. And so it's much more embedded within your biology, within your neurology. Whereas money, for instance, yes, there is a sense of survival, of course, that's linked to it, but presumably that guy's way past the point of survival, right? He's way past that already. And so just to go from like worth 3 million to like worth 300 million, it makes actually virtually no difference, you know? And so I just thought that was very interesting. And I think that difference between the kind of how intense going from 0 to 1 in your personal life is pretty significant, right? But going from like 0 to 10,000, 0 to 100,000, 0 to 1 million, I don't think it's quite the same. I don't think the level of starvation and lack is really quite the same. And it's also a visceral pain as well. The lack is a visceral pain, which you're always going to feel. It's like you can't make your drive go away. You can't make your sex drive go away. You can't just turn your testosterone off, right? I mean, you do hormone blockers, but ultimately, like, it's going to be there, right? So you got that drive. You wake up, you got that drive, and it's every day. It's every single day. It's really interesting. It's really interesting, that comparison. So what's my perspective on that as someone who's 38 years old? I probably side a lot more with Ephraims Way of life, which is basically, you know, get the personal life, get the dating skills sorted, and then move on, and then you do the other stuff. You know, I actually think for a young guy, that's a good way to do things. It doesn't mean you suddenly become unemployed, become a cold approach pickup artist. No, but I would just say slightly over-indexing a little bit for a period on your personal life. Get that sorted, get comfortable with what it's like to approach, get comfortable with dating, get a decent social life going, and then you can push on in the career, you know. I actually think that's a good way to go. I think that's a good way to go. Personally, I almost went from like one extreme, from like 16 to 25. I was like working and studying all this stuff. I was like so indexed on the profession. I actually intentionally ignored women for that period of time as much as I possibly could. almost like monastically, like literally. And then, well, it wasn't even that I changed tack. My tack was changed for me at 25 because I had health problems for a couple of years, quite severe. And after I came through that, I was like, right, actually, I need to actually look at my life here. Am I actually happy? Am I actually becoming happier? Well, the answer is no. So what do I know is going to make me happy? Let's work on the social life. Let's work on the dating life. Let's get into my hobbies. Let's get into some hobbies. So that's when I started all the salsa and all this type of thing. So that was 27 for me. And then for the last 10, 11 years, there was a period of tilt, should we say. I was very hedonistic for a period, which is understandable. And then 30s was much more of the Aristotelian golden mean, you know, between these two things. But that is the great thing about doing cold approach, daytime cold approach, where you can stop women in the day, have a chat with them, compliment them, take their contact details if it goes well, and you move forward from there if you want to. The great thing about being able to do that and having the confidence to do that is you can then just focus on other stuff. So everyone was saying he focuses more on his family, friends, etc. He doesn't care that his hobby is perceived as nerdy or whatever. I don't think it is. I don't even know what spike ball is, to be honest with you, but it sounds cool. And I would completely concur with that. Like, if I go to see my mates, I can just go to see my mates. I don't need to be thinking, oh, I need to find a wing, we need to hit the club. Like, I can just kind of do that whenever I want to do a session. I always know that I can. And that doesn't mean that, by the way, that doesn't mean if you actually get quote unquote good at this, that doesn't mean you're going to be hitting, you know, 100 for 100. Every girl's just going to fall at your feet. That's absolutely ridiculous. What it means is you've got the experience to know, let's say on any given month, I go out and do 4 approach sessions. I know from that I'm going to get some dates. It's pretty much a fact. And over, like, let's say a 2-3 month period, I know if I want, I can probably, you know, get a relationship from that if I want to. So having that there, it's kind of relaxing in a way. It's kind of a relaxing feeling. It's there whenever I want to activate it. If I'm single, then I can activate it. Was there anything else? Yeah, the other thing I would say as well, just to add on to Ephraim's point, is your ideal personal life, your ideal dating life, that actually changes as you get older. It actually does. Basically because you just have less time. And also, like, once you've actually, I think a lot of times when you're younger, you're just chasing the body, right? And depending on which country you're in, who you're around, honestly, a lot of girls, they are pretty clueless. They don't really know how to be with a guy in a way that makes the guy want to actually stay with them. It's quite unfortunate. But once you have that, once you've had that experience with someone who's like, they know how to make you want to stay with them, it kind of changes you, actually. It kind of changes you, and you're like, okay, just an extra body here may or may not be worth my time. But there's other things, like, yeah, you know, it's different for different guys. But for me, it's like cooking, cleaning, generally being of assistance, you know, like actually very practical things for me. I really, in my late 30s now, I really don't have time to just tolerate dramatic bullshit, immature bullshit. I don't have the fucking time. I run a draconian life, right, for myself and anyone else who's in it. We're doing this, we're doing that. It's all good, it's all fun, but like, there's no time for bullshit. So yeah, that's just kind of how it is. So I need someone who's on board with that program. And it's not truly draconian in the sense that they don't have to be on the program. It's like, this is the program. Do you sign up or do you not sign up? Anytime you want to leave, you're free to leave, you know. But interestingly, there's women who really like that, you know. So yeah, for me to be like, I've had times in my life where I'm kind of like, I was actually out and I was like with this different girl, and I was like, yeah, she's fit. But I'm thinking to myself, I actually don't like this person. I actually dislike this human being. She literally is worth nothing beyond, you know, the bedroom, basically. Brutal, that's just the brutal truth. And I think the one I'm thinking of, I think she knew it as well. It's like, would you go out with yourself? No. Interesting. But yeah, I've spent years of my life in that mode. So now as I've got older, I just don't have the effing time. I really don't. So that's just me. That's just my my kind of take on things. Nowadays, rather than try and like pull off some big harem or whatever, I'd rather just have one, you know, main girl, or just be single, and be putting my energy, directing my energy, not horizontally to all these different women, but like direct it to my pursuits, my writing, whatever my like physical pursuits are. I've got loads of other pursuits outside of work, so I'd rather be directing it in that way. Or doing these videos, walking through the street, having people stare at me. So yeah, I will leave things there. Thank you very much for the video there, Ephraim. I thought it was a great discussion, and your experiences were actually very similar to my own, in the sense that once things start to improve, it becomes like the gift that keeps on giving. You know, when I go and meet up with like old wings and mates and stuff like that, we're just having fun. It's like the fact I'd invested in those relationships back in the day, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. I'll go and see them and it's amazing. And even if at one point we all have children and stuff, it will still be the same. It'll still be amazing. So that's the social side as well, not just the dating side. So yeah, we'll leave things there. Hopefully that was a useful video. Yeah, we've got the Socratic dialogues going on here between Entourage members via the medium of YouTube.